Intro, ladies and gentlemen, welcome. Tonight, let's talk about terrorism and the history of the United States. After September 11th, we were told that everything had changed. The world was different. But if we look at history, the world had already been changing long before that day. Terrorism is often described as something that suddenly appears out of nowhere. But if violence appears without reason, why do some acts get called terrorism, while others are called foreign policy or liberation? Take the Cold War, for instance. During the 1980s, the United States and its allies supported many armed groups around the world. They were trained, funded, and equipped, not for fun, but because they served strategic interests. In Afghanistan, these groups fought against the Soviet Union. Western media called them freedom fighters, brave men defending their homeland, resisting foreign occupation. Money and weapons were sent to them. Supporters cheered. No one called them terrorists at that time. Decades later, some of these same fighters returned the favor, in a sense. Some turned against the West. Suddenly, they weren't freedom fighters anymore. They were terrorists. Think about that. The same methods, the same ideology, but the labels change depending on who benefits and who loses. History is full of examples like this. In Latin America, in the Middle East, even in Asia, the lines between terrorism, resistance, and foreign policy have always been blurry. And yet, political narratives simplify it. We are told terrorism is evil, irrational, sudden. But if we look closely, we see patterns. We see decisions made decades earlier, alliances formed for strategic advantage, and support given to groups that would later become enemies. Violence does not occur in a vacuum. It grows from conflicts, from interventions, from decades of foreign influence and power struggles. Ignoring that history is convenient. It allows governments to say, "This is just evil, we fight it, and that is all you need to know." But understanding history is uncomfortable. It shows responsibility, complexity, and the consequences of political choices. Take Afghanistan again. The U.S. trained and armed fighters who would eventually become adversaries. Does that excuse what happened later? No. But does it help explain it? Absolutely. When violence is used by our allies, it is sometimes called liberation. When it is used against our interests, it is called terrorism. This is not a minor difference. It shapes policy, public perception, and even the laws we create. It changes the narrative, the story told to citizens, and what they are willing to accept. So, when we hear news about terrorism, we should ask, who benefits from calling it terrorism? Who benefits from calling it liberation? And what history is being left out? History is not just a story of the past. It is the blueprint for understanding the present. Without it, we misunderstand motives, we misjudge actions, and we repeat mistakes. Terrorism today is connected to interventions yesterday, to alliances formed in decades past, to strategies that seemed clever at the time but had consequences no one wanted to see. Violence is never simple. Political decisions are never without cost, and labeling groups without context distorts reality. So the next time someone tells you terrorism just appeared, remember history. Remember that what we call evil today was sometimes useful yesterday, and that understanding history is the first step toward preventing more violence tomorrow. Ladies and gentlemen, history matters. Labels matter. And understanding matters more than comforting narratives. Thank you.